2018 Roller Derby World Cup here in Manchester, England. We're on the Rainy City Roller Derby track. My name's Mr. Whistler.
And I'm Boba Roller.
And we are about to bring you Team Japan taking on Team Switzerland. I'll give you a quick run through of the Swiss roster first. Number 5 is Flegel. Number 11, Nina Nakui. 1-2-3 is Anna Banana. 1-3 is Missy Lestrange. 15, Riot Rocket. 17, Maverick. 206, Malice in Wonderland. 24 is Goldie. 27, Kenny Kick. 3063 is Roulette Babette. Number 4, Lola Mento. Number 6, Killer Barbie. 60 is Mishi Impossible. 69 is Louisette Bonbon. And number 8 is Sin Sister.
And the Japanese roster is 0, Dedamame. 1-2, Tuxedo Slam. 1-2-7, Nikki Cash. 1-4-0, Shake and Bake. 1-8, Bandit Angel. 1-8-0-0, Tokyo Takeout. 1-9-9-8, Holy Haru. 2-4-1, She's a Beast. 3-0-0, Chris Rago. 4-5-2, Mackenzie Phillips. 7, Slamarine. 7-0-1, Vijay Jackson. 7-5, Where's the Fire? 7-7, Sprocket Tia, and 9-5-0, Thunder Bell.
So from here on out, the games are full regulation length. Yesterday's games to help establish the parameters for the rest of the weekend were all abbreviated games with some modified numbers in terms of timeouts and all that. But we're back to the actual roller derby that we all know and love today and tomorrow.
So
teams are playing
full-hour games with a half-time.
Full complement of timeouts and official reviews. And we are actually underway. Japan is wearing white and Switzerland in red. Jamming for Switzerland's number 206, Malice in Wonderland, and that's 1-4-0 Shake and Bake with the circle as opposed to the star for Team Japan on the helmet cover.
I like that. Oh, but what have Switzerland got on their helmet cover?
I cannot make that out. We will get that information for people later, though. Lee Jammer going to Japan as they've been doing some nice recycling on the straightaway here, keeping Malice in Wonderland from breaking through. Ready, 5 points in the sky for Japan.
Malice in Wonderland has passed her helmet cover to the pivot, so has completed a star pass, but the pivot has not put on her helmet yet. She's still trying to break through the Japanese blockers.
Yeah, Chris Rago at the front from Windy City doing some nice work, holding Louisette Bonbon from getting through, and now Louisette Bonbon has gotten through on that initial pass. Shaking Base, though, with another scoring pass.
Yeah, Shake and Bake picked up a full 5 points for passing all of the blockers and the jammer.
Switzerland lining up at the back, waiting for Shake and Bake. Shake and Bake pushing the pack up towards the pivot line. Direction gameplay penalty, sending a blocker to the box. You get Switzerland on the board, though. 4 points there picked up by Louisette Bonbon. After one jam, Japan 13, Switzerland 4.
And on the line, we've got number 127, Nikki Cash, jamming for Japan, and number 13, Missy Lestrange, jamming for Switzerland. Oh, we think it might be the Edelweiss flower on the Swiss helmet cover.
Edelweiss seems like such a gentle thing to have going with roller derby, doesn't it? Nikki Cash, lead jammer for Japan. Missy Lestrange still working around turn 2, knocked to the ref lane. It's going to be recycled back towards turn 1. Going back with a friend, and that's number 4, Lola Mento, working in tandem.
And Number 1-3, Missy Lestrange, took off her helmet cover as she was coming through the pack. Oh, and the jam gets called off before she can score any points for Switzerland.
So very loud here at Event City. Of course, there are 4 games happening simultaneously on 4 different tracks. Getting a bit of sound bleed right now, I believe, from the Canada-France game happening on the S1 helmet track. So that one is where everybody is at. But there's a lot of people here at the Rainy City Roller Derby track as well for Japan and Switzerland. Dedamame, number 0 on the jammer line for Japan, and that's number 8, Sin Sister, for Switzerland.
Sin Sister came through, but is being sent to the penalty box.
Looks like it was a misconduct call. So power jam here for Japan. They are currently up by 14 points here in the 3rd jam of the opening half. Yeah, and Dedamame now cuts the track and is also going to the box. So we're going to have the jammers switch out in the penalty box. This jam will go the full 2 minutes.
So, of course, if a jammer is already in the penalty box and the opposing jammer joins her, the first jammer is released, and the second jammer has to serve the same amount of time the first jammer served.
And that is indeed what's happened. So we're going to see Dedamame re-entering play too. Basically, Japan had a full box. Now all 3 are re-entering play right behind Sin Sister. Sin Sister on a scoring pass.
Takes a big hit from Chris Rago from Japan.
Everybody's recycled back to turn 2, coming down the far straightaway. Switzerland lining up at the front. Got 3 and a friend, and now they're starting to break off so they can maintain the bridge. But a track cut penalty issued to Dedamame. Power jam again for Switzerland. 3rd jammer penalty of the jam.
And Sin Sister is through, picking up full 5 points for Switzerland. And that was actually the 2nd cut track in the jam for the jammer.
And that jam is going to come to an end with another jammer penalty, this time a back block to Sin Sister. So Sin Sister picking up 3 penalties in 1 jam, including the end.
So the beginning of this
Math
jam...
is hard. Math is hard
Yeah.
at the Roller Derby World Cup here on day 2.
We're trying our best to do some counting. So this jam actually begins with 1 jammer being released from the penalty box, and the second jammer will have to serve the same amount of time that she served during jam time. It was a bit confusing because she was only sent there at the end of the jam.
Yeah, a lot of activity in that penalty box right now in the early going. Score is 18-9 for Japan.
So of course we still have Dedamame and Sin Sister jamming. And Sin Sister is through for lead jammer for Switzerland.
Yes, and there were just 2 jammer penalties issued to Sin Sister in that previous jam. Just want to correct that. Star pass happening from Japan. Now handed off to number 241, Shisa Beast.
This is Switzerland's first lead jam, and they take advantage of it and call it off before Japan can score any points.
So after 4 jams, it's 18 for Japan, 13 for Team Switzerland. Make your skates your own with custom colored, handcrafted Color Lab boots by Rydell Skates. Thank you, Rydell.
So a change of jammer now after each jammer did 2 jams. And we've got number 206. That's Malice in Wonderland jamming for Team Switzerland, and Shake and Bake jamming for Team Japan. Malice in Wonderland through for lead jammer. So that's our 2nd lead jammer status for Team Switzerland.
I see Malice in Wonderland already hitting the pack, trying to work around the inside, can't get through, takes the outside line, gets a little caught up in traffic, but sees Shake and Bake coming, calls it. Shake and Bake making some contact there right at the end, but we get 3 points here for Switzerland, and now we've got ourselves a 2-point game.
Ooh. I thought this would be a good matchup. Exciting to see. So on the line we have number 1-3 Missy Lestrange jamming for Team Switzerland, and that's 1-2-7 Nikki Cash jamming for Team Japan.
Multiplayer block is going to send number 7 Slamurai off to the penalty box. Another lead jammer status going here to Switzerland. Number 13, that's Missy Lestrange picking that up. Nikki Cash not too far behind, but has about a quarter lap to make up. And we're going to see a hit and quit. And we're going to also see a lead change as a result of that. These 4 points are going to bring Switzerland to 20. Japan holding at 18. Japan's been held off the scoreboard now the last 4 jams in a row. They got all those points in the opening 2 jams. Whereas Switzerland has come to life, as it were, and making some noise here. Blood and Thunder, whose belief is life's better on roller skates. And want to visit them at bloodandthundermag.com for roller derby inspired apparel. Thank you, Blood and Thunder.
So we've got number 8 Sin Sister jamming for Team Switzerland. And number 7-5 Where's the Fire jamming for Team Japan. The Sin Sister is through for lead jammer. Yeah, they really have woken up.
Yeah, and so Japan now starting to mix up their rotation a little bit, sending Where's the Fire out. Nice bracing at the front here by the Swiss. They are starting to lose blockers, but they still have Louisette Bonbon anchoring up at the front. Is finally Where's the Fire is able to get through on that initial pass.
For just 2 blockers on track, they managed to hold her for a surprising amount of time. And 2 points go to Team Switzerland, which means we'll be extending that lead just by a little bit.
Just a little bit, just in little small increments. Pivot Star UK is here for you. Top quality gear with flawless design, tops, tank shorts, leggings, and their world-class famous hoodies alongside stylish sublimated uniforms. Visit Pivot Star UK. Alternative athletic, awesome.
Oh, this is actually the same jammer matchup as Jam 1. We've got number 206, Malice in Wonderland, and Shake and Bake taking lead jammer status for Team Japan.
Yeah, it's also a 3-2 pack advantage off the start. Reinforcements coming from the box for Switzerland. They do lose another to the penalty box. But a lot of space here for Shake and Bake. Shake and Bake gets 4 points, and looks like Japan is going to run this long. It's also the first lead jammer status going for Japan's favor since the second jam of the game, and nice toe stop work around turn 3.
She's looking to see where Switzerland's jammer is before she calls off the jam.
Yeah,
really nice work.
The gamble pays off. That 8-4 jam in Japan's favor means we now have a tie game, 26 all, 18 minutes left in the opening half. I have a feeling this one's going to stay this way in this type of this little seesaw momentum for quite some time. No one's quite pulling away just yet.
It definitely feels like it. We're seeing quite evenly matched skills on track. So on the line we've got Nikki Cash jamming for Team Japan and Missy Lestrange jamming for Team Switzerland. And Nikki Cash takes the lead for Team Japan. Missy Lestrange still being held back by a really strong Japan wall. Japanese blocker Vijayal Jackson peels off to keep the pack alive and then gives some offensive help to her jammer.
Mrs. Lestrange completing that initial pass, but now closing fast, still had about a quarter of a lap to make up, but hits the back of the pack, is unable to score. Japan retakes the lead with that 4-point jam by Nikki Cash, 30-26. And yesterday's games went so quickly, all those half-hour abbreviated games. But already here in day 2, it feels like these full-length games are going so quickly. We're already almost halfway through the opening half.
A quarter of the way through the game.
Yeah.
And we've got a team timeout called by Team Switzerland.
The S1 Lifer helmet offers the best fit and best protection, means that's made for roller derby. Get a Lifer, be a Lifer. S1, the official helmet of the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup. And if you were watching at home on the live stream, you can jump in on Twitter using the hashtag RDWC2018. Also make sure to follow the Roller Derby World Cup at Derby World Cup or at Rainy City Roller Derby, our wonderful host league, who has brought the world here to Manchester in this amazing facility that we get to spend the next 4 days. Feels like the rest of our lives.
It does feel like it's a long time.
It's been like a bit of forever.
I wouldn't mind that. Forever in roller derby.
So we'll see what this timeout does for Switzerland, because the momentum was just starting to swing back in Japan's favor, and see if they're able to do a bit of a reset here and swing the pendulum back in their own direction.
Where's the Fire is on the line for Team Japan, and Sin Sister jamming for Team Switzerland at the start of Jam 10.
Yeah, Japan and the blockers there at the back, including Thunderbell, all of them blocking the inside couple of lanes, making Sin Sister have to re-enter behind them. Long bridge dropped here by Switzerland so they can keep blocking at the front, and eventually it does fall apart courtesy of a multiplayer block. So where's the Fire? Lead jammer for Japan.
The third lead for Japan for Where's the Fire in a row.
Yet having a very good game.
Both teams are.
Yes, I'm not trying to single out any one person, but that's the only person having a good game.
Yeah.
No points called in here, though. So 30-26 remains the score. 15.5 minutes left. Malice in Wonderland and Shake and Bake returning to the jammer line. Again, Switzerland in red, Japan wearing white.
Switzerland 1 blocker down in the penalty box, only 3 blockers on track.
Shake and Bake just driving up the inside, splits apart that 2-all, picks up lead. Chris Rago with the drawback on Malice in Wonderland.
Malice in Wonderland has removed her helmet cover. I don't know if she's just doing a star stash or if she'll be passing it to her pivot.
Drawback attempts there from 7-1, but Michael Jackson did not go back far enough to incur the cuts that she was hoping to draw. Malice in Wonderland now completing the initial pass, which is going to force the call off on the other side of the track. 5-point pass there for Japan to 35-26.
That was actually the 4th time that those 2 jammers have been together, and of those 4 times, 3 went to Japan as lead. And now on the line we've got number 1-3 for Switzerland, Missy Lestrange, and 1-2-7 Nikki Cash for Team Japan.
Nice angle looking across the track towards the start line there to get a bit of a sense of that formation. You can see here Nikki Cash kind of keeping an eye on what Missy Lestrange is doing. They're both going for the same space in the middle, but a forearm penalty by Nikki Cash. This is a power jam for Switzerland. Switzerland lining up the bookends on the sides of the track.
This could be just what Switzerland needs to close that point differential. Possibly even extend it if she's very quick.
4-3 pack advantage for Switzerland. Using it to their advantage, just creating just enough space for Missy Lestrange to get through.
And that 5 points means that Switzerland have now taken the lead. And another 4 points extends that lead to 40.
Jammer penalty has ended, and a new jammer penalty has been assigned. A track cut to Nikki Cash, who's going to return to the penalty box. A power jam opportunity continuing for Switzerland. Ready on a nice momentum swing. They're up 14-0 on this one jam alone.
Missy Lestrange being taken off the track by number 7. That is Slamerai.
So this will be a power start.
Team timeout to Team Japan.
Yeah, good time to take a team timeout after yielding a 19-0 shutout on that last jam. It's now a 10-point lead for Switzerland, 45-35. So the clock's going to be stopped here at 12:10.
It's really so little in this lead. All it would take is another power jam.
Another one of those.
Absolutely, and we'll switch back.
Well, Sweet80.com is where you can get awesome brands including Punky Pins, Bob Bags, American Socks, Sisu, and band apparel. A portion of profits from all sales through Sweet80.com are donated to the Claire Lawrence Foundation to fund brain cancer charities. Sweet80.com, wear, roll, give. Not sure if you can hear it on the feed, but it's the apparently it's the scorekeeper's birthday today.
Oh.
So Val Capone on the house mic has been serenading. Happy birthday!
Very happy birthday! What a lovely way to spend your birthday.
Yeah, I think it's
counting.
It's actually a wonderful way to spend your birthdays here at the Roller Derby World Cup. The power starts as Nikki Cash remains in the penalty box. Everyone for Switzerland lined up on the far left for Sin Sister.
And she makes quick work of that pack and comes through for lead jammer status for Team Switzerland. Switzerland have lost one of their blockers to the box, Riot Rocket, just as she sits down. Team Japan's jammer, 127. Nikki Cash is released and back on track for her initial pass.
Losing a forearm penalty to Chris Rago is going to take another Japanese blocker off the track. So still a 3-3 pack. Sin Sister with the call off, and that Swiss timing is highly effective. Calls it just in time to prevent any points coming in for Japan. So a 9-0 jam, 54-35 is your score. Penalty trouble continuing though for Japan. They have 2 blockers in the box. So they're going to line up at the front, a little closer to the pivot line. Now they're skating back. They're going to try to contain the chevron of Swiss blockers.
Malice in Wonderland on the line for Team Switzerland and Shake and Bake jamming for Team Japan. And Shake and Bake comes through on the inside line and picks up lead jammer for Japan. Malice in Wonderland has again removed her helmet cover and sneaks through on the inside line for Team Switzerland.
Yeah, lots of space there to work with. Now Japan making some room on the far straightaway for Shake and Bake. Shake and Bake is scoring points. Malice in Wonderland is scoring points. So I believe we're going to see Shake and Bake going to try to hit and quit and see if we can make this an 8-4 jam. She hits, she quits, but how many does she get? She only gets 3 on that pass. But it is a 7-4 jam win for Japan. They're sitting at 42. Switzerland at 58, less than 10 minutes left in the opening half. Fifth Blocker skates are skater owned and operated since 2011. Gus.
And we've got Where's the Fire and Missy Lestrange on track. No blockers in the penalty box. We have a full remit of skaters on track. Missy Lestrange stretches out the pack, pushing Japan's blockers forwards and comes through for lead jammer.
Nice tight shoulder-to-shoulder blocking by Switzerland, but it just fell apart at the end. Oh, and now a blocking out of bounds penalty, or out of play, my apologies, a blocking out of play penalty being issued to the jammer for Switzerland, Missy Lestrange. So this is now a power jam for Japan. It's not a penalty you see too often for out of play engagement on the jammer, but every once in a while you'll see one of those. The Michael Jackson trapping Goldie at the back of the pack.
Being helped out by Anna Banana.
And an illegal re-entry called on Missy Lestrange. So power jam continuing for Japan.
We're seeing a real mix of penalties in this game.
Basically, we're going to go through the whole whiteboard, all the symbols. We might even get into the new symbols. Actually, we're not going to get into the new symbols and cues because those are not in effect this weekend. But we're going to get a full alphabet soup, I think, at this rate this is going. So 10 points now coming in already on this jam for Where's the Fire. And the jam ends. Missy Lestrange has less than 10 seconds, is standing in the box, but it will be a power start for Japan. And they're now back within striking distance, only down by 6, 58-52. 7 minutes left in the opening half.
We've got Mackenzie Phillips on the line for Team Japan. And
let's see Japan lining up. They've got 2 blockers on either side. All 4 in the front there for Switzerland. Very quickly, Japan coming in to do a bit of a sweep. Not quite enough to spring Mackenzie Phillips just yet. And Mackenzie Phillips cuts the track. So going to take a seat in the penalty box. Lead still available for Missy Lestrange. Does pick it up, so power jam in the driver's seat.
Team Switzerland blockers line up to see which way their jammer's going to go so they can assess which side they can help her make a gap in.
Yeah, she's looking for the inside line, finds just enough of it to get through for the Grand Slam. Power jam has ended. Mackenzie Phillips back on the track.
Missy Lestrange comes through on the outside line, manages to stay in bounds.
Yeah, there was a nice move there by Slamurai, basically throwing Tuxedo Slam, her teammate, at at the jammer, at Missy Lestrange, but it wasn't effective in the end. 2 to the box now for Japan. They're hustling, trying to get these over. Oh, and they actually have a 3rd in there, no room at the end. So we got someone on deck. This is a huge jam for Team Switzerland already. It's 19-0, more time left.
With only 2 Japan blockers on track, it's difficult to keep the Switzerland jammer back.
Well, again, this time it was Slamurai and Shisa Beast were the 2 left up at the front, doing a fine job, basically trying to minimize the damage on this power jam as much as possible.
Absolutely. Oh, number 7 Slamurai also sent to the box.
24 big points there for Switzerland on that jam. They're starting to take the roof off of this one. They're up by 30 points, 82 to 52. Less than 5 minutes to go.
What a difference that jam made. So on the line we have number 140 for Japan. That is Shake and Bake. And it's Michi Impossible on the line for Team Switzerland.
I believe it's Michi Impossible's first jam of the game with the star. But Shake and Bake, again, picking up lead, having a lot of success on the track.
Michi Impossible is out, chasing her down. I don't know if Shake and Bake realized how close behind her she was.
Well, it's a constant parade in and out of the penalty box for both teams. Now got a 2-2 pack. Lots of room on the track. Jammers both scoring at will and taking full advantage. Shake and Bake's running it long.
So of course the jammers, as they pass the blockers on track, they not only pick up the points for those blockers, but also for the blockers that are in the penalty box, which is why they're picking up 4 points for each pass.
Indeed. And as the games that are happening today and tomorrow are basically what's going to determine the top 16 and all the bracketing for Sunday and the medal rounds. Basically, you want the strongest performance you can have. Teams were seeded to come into today based on yesterday. And then the results from today and tomorrow will further do a whole bunch of mathematics and other things that are very difficult, which is ultimately going to lead to the determination of that top 16. Visit the Road Derby World Cup website for more information about how that bracketing works. It's a lot simpler when you can look at the charts than us to explain it to you here.
Yep, Nikki Cash is through for lead jammer for Team Japan, and followed by Sin Sister for Team Switzerland. Nikki Cash picks up a cut track penalty for Team Japan and is being sent to the penalty box, meaning we have another power jam for Team Switzerland.
Yeah, Switzerland knocking on the door of triple digits, and they're probably going to get there at this rate in this jam. There they go. There's 5. Will take them to 103.
Since this did a lovely transition and then skating backwards past the blockers from Team Japan. I enjoyed that.
So nice swinging and hitting there from Slamurai at the back. Just resisting Sin Sister just a little bit.
Sin Sister somehow managed to dodge that hit from Thunderbell, stays on track and comes around for another 4 or 5 points.
Oh, Nikki Cash rolled the dice on that one. That's another track cut. Power jam again for Switzerland. She was counting a bit on the momentum there, trying to keep the toe stops in the right place. So Sin Sister having a big jam here, 15 points already. Our 3 Japanese blockers at the front, anchored right now by Slamurai.
The back block assessed to Team Japan's blocker. That's number 7, Slamurai.
Slamurai had opinions about that that penalty call, but is sitting in the penalty box. So a 22 jam, 20 points to 2, that is, in favor of Switzerland. It means they're at 118 to 71.
It looks like the penalty box have called for an official timeout.
So we get an update on what's happening here in this conversation. They have removed Slamurai from the penalty box, and Slamurai is being escorted off to the side.
Slamurai has been replaced in the penalty box by one of Team Japan's other blockers.
So we don't have official word as to the nature of that.
So on track now, we have Shake and Bake jabbing for Team Japan and Missy Lestrange jabbing for Team Switzerland. Switzerland have been changing up their jammers.
I mean, score is 118-76 currently. We are out of period time. We are on jam clock only right now. Shake and Bake lead. Still have over a minute of jam time. Teams have slowed down around the turn 1 to 2 apex. Shake and Bake, though, completing a 5-point pass. That's 10 already on this jam. 118-81 is the lead currently for Switzerland.
But Miss Lestrange really trying to fight her way past the Japanese blockers. But Chris Rago and Sprocket Tuya holding her firmly.
Unfortunately, Chris Rago picking up a forearm penalty for that engagement, but Missy Lestrange picking up a track cut. So jammer penalties for both sides in this opening half have just been phenomenal, unfortunately. We're still seeing some amazing performances, but it's been a little difficult for teams to maintain the momentum that they're picking up with all of those jammer penalties.
Absolutely. I think both teams are taking chances and pushing it as far as they can, but I think it might be to the detriment of their gameplay.
So jam is called there by Shake and Bake. So at halftime, our halftime score is 118 for Switzerland, 85 for Japan. Jam was called while Missy Lestrange was still in the penalty box, which means the second half will start with a power start for Japan. And both teams are going to be heading to the locker room and do a bit of a debrief. We'll be back probably in about a dozen minutes here on the Rainy City Roller Derby track at the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup.
We can see that in Team Japan, Shake and Bake has been on 6 jams, and in those 6 jams scored a total of 63 points, which is 2/3 of Team Japan's points total.
Yep, and also the most points of any one skater in this game, I believe, too.
That's correct, yeah. And Missy Lestrange has actually only been on 3 jams, and has scored 47 points, which is a whopping total. However,
but those last two, look at that, like 19 and 24 in those last 2 jams alone. So
the highest scoring jams of the game.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do believe that she has quite a high penalty
She
number.
does. She did pick up 5 and will be starting the second half in the penalty box, I believe, because she was still boxed when that first half came to a conclusion. And speaking of penalties, we did have a foul out in the first half, a little bit towards the end. Slamurai, number 7 for Japan, reached 7. So 7 had 7 and fouled out of the game. So Japan will finish the game down a skater.
And we were discussing with Miss Lestrange having quite a high amount of penalties, whether her bench coach would put in some other jammers for a little while. Obviously, you won't have the option on this jam.
Well, they may need to mix some things up a bit. They're also getting some good results elsewhere. Sin Sister, over 4 jams, has picked up 40 points. The other points for Switzerland coming from Malice in Wonderland has 15, and Michi Impossible has 11. So they do have other options in the rotation if they do want to play it safe and mix it up. But the second half is now underway. Power start successful for Japan. Shake and Bake, the leading point scorer in the game, is the lead.
Coming up against a strong Switzerland wall, but getting some help from her teammate, she makes it through for 5 points.
Yep, all 4 on the floor up at the front there for Switzerland. They've got the 3 and a friend formation. See the disturbance in the force coming over courtesy of Chris Rago. Shake and bake, recognizes that's a no pass, no penalty, and gets back out on the track. Power jam is ended. You see Missy Lestrange go right to left across the screen and is now back on the track.
Shake and bake coming through on the inside line, makes it pass for another 5 points. So Missy Lestrange still being held back by Japan's blockers.
Yeah, Nikki Cash out there with the pivot stripe, doing some nice work along with Tokyo Takeout. And as I say that, Tokyo Takeout gets sent to the penalty box.
Missy Lestrange with her helmet cover in hand makes it through the pack. But the jam is called off before she can score any points.
So a big start to the half rather, as Shake and Bake picks up where she left off with a 17-point jam. That'll take her to 80 on the game. So she's got 80 of those 102 points. Switzerland only up now by 16.
But both teams have now broken the century.
They're filling in all the blank spaces on the scoreboard. Because that's a thing.
We've got Where's the Fire jamming for Team Japan and Sin Sister up for Team Switzerland.
Sin Sister is lead. Where's the Fire? Star in hand, does now complete the initial pass.
So Sin Sister, as you were saying, has been strong, has been high scoring. And again, calls off the jam after scoring 4 points.
Yeah, so Switzerland running that one short, and I suspect if this lead stays as tenuous as it does, they may be working on some of these shorter jams the next little bit to try to just move up in these smaller increments of 4-0, 4-0, 4-0. Make your mom proud. Wear Roller Derby Elite. Roller Derby Elite, the brand that invented the sport.
We've got Shake and Bake on track for Team Japan and Mission Impossible on track for Team Switzerland.
Yeah, Team Japan riding the hot hand right now. Second out of the last 3 jams to start the half.
Japan are currently down 1 blocker, 1 in the penalty box. However, she is standing, so we'll be joining the track right now. And that's Mission Impossible getting lead jammer status for Team Switzerland, while Shake and Bake. Oh, we've had a star pass. So the new jammer for Team Japan is number 701, Vijayal Jackson. She has come through the pack and now has the jammer helmet cover on her helmet.
Yeah, Vijayal Jackson unable to catch up to the pack to pick up any points. Mission Impossible sees her coming, calls it. So another 4-0 jam for Switzerland. They're at 126, Japan holding it 102. Dedamame on the jammer line for Japan. Missy Lestrange, number 13, on the line for Switzerland. Missy Lestrange picking up lead for Switzerland.
Dedamame being held back by the Swiss jammers. She's removed her helmet cover and has successfully passed it to Japan's pivot.
I believe that's She's a Beast.
She's a Beast is out of the pack. And put the helmet cover on her head. But Missy Lestrange breaks her way through Team Japan's walls and calls off the jam, picking up another 4 points for Team Switzerland.
Yeah, calling that off emphatically. I thought she was going to catch air with those arms going. But there's a lot happening in this building, as we've been saying, not just the noise. It's just you have to make sure that all of these things are very demonstrative, very clear. Every little second counts. Where's the Fire on the jammer line for Japan and Sin Sister for Switzerland?
Where's the Fire comes through with a roaring start and takes lead jammer status for Team Japan. Sin Sister waits for Where's the Fire to come round the track and offers a hit.
Yeah, nice little hip flick there.
Yeah.
Just caught a piece of her. This lateral movement here from the Swiss is really nice.
Yeah, really good, managing to cover the track for as long as they can.
Now down the far straightaway. Jackal Jackson with the attempt on the drawback.
And we've had a star pass for Team Switzerland, and their jammer is now Louisette Bonbon.
Big collision here. Where's the Fire coming in hard against Sin Sister?
While calling off the jam. That's multitasking.
Does pick up a single point on that final pass. Although some discussion by the officials right now, so we might see an adjustment. Scoreboard currently showing 113 for Japan and 130 for Switzerland.
We're having an official timeout while they check the scores.
Anybody watching on the feed, yes, it does say CHE on the scoreboard overlay on the right-hand side, but that's meant to be Switzerland.
And on the jam line, we've got Tokyo Takeout on her first jam for Team Japan.
Yeah, first time out with the jammer helmet cover.
And Mishi Impossible jamming for Team Switzerland.
Tokyo Takeout, very strong here, pushing the blockers out.
Very strong. Skips around and takes, oh no, picks up a forearms penalty.
So a little too strong on the forward momentum.
So this leaves Mishi Impossible on a power jam for Team Switzerland. Oh, but she is not lead jammer.
Oh, and there's one of those penalties that you hate to say it, but that one may have been worth it. The back block penalty being issued to number 4, Lolo Mento, for Switzerland, because that cleared a lot of track space and allowed Mishi Impossible to get through.
Mishi Impossible uses her teammates, Riot Rocket and Kenny Kick, to get through Japan's blockers. Tokyo Takeout out of the penalty box, but I think she gets a blocking with the head penalty and is sent to the penalty box again, meaning we're still on a power jam for Team Switzerland. We are seeing all the penalties. Should be ticking them off our list.
Yeah, exactly. I think I have a bingo. 145 already here in the second half. 15-0 jam thus far for Mishi Impossible as the power jam continues. Should be able to get Tokyo Takeout back on the track before the jam runs out. Because no lead was assigned as Tokyo Takeout had the jammer penalty and Mishi Impossible was not declared lead. So this one is running the full deuce. Mishi Impossible trying to get around these last two blockers. Does pick up 2 points. So that jam goes 22-0 in favor of Switzerland. So another big jam. And we do have another foul out, and that's exactly why Tokyo Takeout did not return to the track at the end of the jam, because that last penalty was the 7th. So second foul out of the game for for Japan and Tokyo Takeout.
So we're having a team timeout now to Team Japan, being signaled by a lovely jam timer, Yoshi.
It's an opportunity to tell you about Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is Europe's original derby-owned and devoted skate shop. Sucker Punch is dedicated to helping you with honest advice to find you exactly what you need and more. Their technical know-how and expertise is unrivaled, as is their availability of your favorite gear and the fast shipping they offer throughout Europe. Visit them at suckerpunchskateshop.com. 152 to 113, 21:06 on the period clock when this one gets underway.
We're having an official timeout called, so we'll see. Refs are having a little discussion. On the line, waiting to jam, we do have Shake and Bake for Team Japan and Miss Lestrange for Team Switzerland.
Yeah, I think it was a good time for Japan. Japan took the team timeout first, and then we had an official timeout right after. But I think it was a really good time for Japan to take that timeout after losing another skater. Maybe try to. Things are getting a little frenetic, I think, in the last couple of jams here. So it's a good opportunity just to reset and see what they can do now, because now they are down by, announcer math is telling me that's 39 points, 152 to 113.
I agree.
So Japan's going to do what I would probably do in this situation, which is put Shake and Bake back on the jammer line.
And it looks like it's the right thing to do. She skips around Team Switzerland's wall and comes through for lead jammer status.
Yeah, Shake and Bake was 6 for 7 in lead jammer opportunities in the first half.
Miss Lestrange gets taken off the track and recycled back. So Miss Lestrange still on her initial pass as Shake and Bake picks up a full 5 points.
Crowd on the edge of their seats here at Event City. Nice takeout there by Roulette Babette. Yeah, Shake and Bake continuing in a currently 80% lead percentage in this game.
Ooh!
Nikki Cash coming out of nowhere, clearing Roulette Babette out of the way for Shake and Bake.
That's some fantastic offensive play. Miss Lestrange is through her initial pass and coming around for her scoring pass now as Shake and Bake calls off the jam, picking up another 4 points for Team Japan.
Yep, and does manage to keep Switzerland off the board during that whole time. And I think that was a bit of what was happening there, is when she went down, trying to look around to see, get a sense of where is that other jammer, or what is my bench telling me to do? But yeah, it does call it a time. So that jam scored 14-0 in favor of Japan. They are now down only by 25, 152 to 127, with less than 20 minutes left.
On the line we have Dedamame jamming for Team Japan and Malice in Wonderland up jamming for Team Switzerland. Dedamame coming up against a full wall of Team Switzerland blockers. So in fact, a couple of them went on the offensive to get Malice in Wonderland out, and Malice in Wonderland has lead jammer. Team Japan have completed a star pass.
But she's not, she's some confusion because she's being signaled for being out of play. And she's got a, now we've got a star pass violation as well. Where's the Fire received the star, but had already incurred a track cut penalty that just hadn't quite registered. So couldn't do anything with the star.
So the helmet cover, she had to drop the helmet cover because the star pass was not successful. So as the jammer comes out of the box, she will need to retrieve the helmet cover, put it back on her head to be able to pass the other players legally.
And here we go. So now Dedamame putting the star, as it were, the jammer cover, in this case the circle, back on the helmet. Chris Rago just battling right now with Malice in Wonderland at the front.
Managing to hold her back one-on-one. and sending her back until Team Japan's wall can regroup.
And that was a really nice force out there because it's totally exactly what you just said. It allowed them to get all 4 of them back up together at the front, minimizing the damage on this powered kill. That's got to be an effective kill. They have to feel good about that one. It started out a little rough, but in the end, that one really came together nicely for Japan. They still yield 15 points in that jam. 167-27 is your score.
So seeing Shake and Bake up again, jamming for Team Japan against Sin Sister, excuse me. Sin Sister jamming for Team Switzerland.
Shake and Bake, a bit of a freight train move here, coming up the inside line, leaving blockers in her wake and picking up lead.
Sin Sister is now out of the pack and chasing down Shake and Bake.
Yeah, but Michael Jackson with a swing and a miss on Sin Sister.
Shake and Bake taken off the track on the inside line, but calls off the jam before Sin Sister can get round and score any points.
Yes, I think in this particular jam, it was the right decision to make that call and just keep it as a 4-0. But Japan's going to probably start to need to run it a bit longer, I think, as this half goes on, because we're almost halfway through the second. And they're going to need to take a little more risks, I think, at this point, and hope that they can force some jammer penalties on Switzerland, as was done to them earlier in this game.
Absolutely. 75, Where's the Fire, jamming for Team Japan, and Mission Impossible up jamming for Team Switzerland. Both coming up against some extremely strong walls.
The strong walls are starting to fall apart because of the multiplayer blocking happening, but
and that's Where's the Fire getting lead jammer status for Team Japan.
locking it down right now at the front. That's the Swiss pivot. Luzette Bonbon working hard at tandem with Flegel.
Anna Banana doing some offensive work to get Mission Impossible through the Team Japan wall. And it pays off.
You see Mission Impossible number 60 had the star in hand. Does get through on the initial pass, but no points for Switzerland. So it's a 5-point pickup for Japan. They're down now by 31 points, 167 to 136.
Edging towards equalizing.
Yes, I like that. Here at Event City in England. Double Threat Skates, expert advice from experienced staff. Head to doublethreatskates.co.uk.
Miss Lestrange up jamming for Team Switzerland, and Dedamame on track for Team Japan. Miss Lestrange is through for lead jammer status for Team Switzerland, but Dedamame is out and hot on her heels. Miss Lestrange checks Dedamame's location and calls off the jam for another 4 points.
And Japan has started to shorten their bench a little bit. They've been double shifting a couple of blockers here and there. Obviously losing a couple in Tokyo Takeout and Slamurai the first half to foul outs. Needing to make some adjustments to their blocking rotations. Right now down by 35 points, 171 to 136, just under 13 minutes left.
Shake and Bake takes off number 206, Malice in Wonderland, jamming for Team Switzerland. And comes out to the front of the pack, but picks up a cut track penalty and is sent to the box.
No, the hand
excuse
signal's been
me.
adjusted. It's now, it looked like it was going to be a track cut, but no, it looks like forearm is what was the final verdict. But at any rate, damage is done. It's Power Jam Switzerland.
Malice in Wonderland coming through on her third scoring pass. Picks up another 5 points for Team Switzerland and calls off the jam as she sees Shake and Bake standing in the box.
Yeah, Switzerland's been doing a nice job of that in this game of icing jammers in the box and allowing themselves to have the benefit of power starts. Japan taking a team timeout. This is their last team timeout. They do still have an official review at their disposal. That's going to freeze the clock at 11:52. 181 to 136 is the Swiss lead. Cheese ball bearings are the #1 Derby-owned and operated skate bearing, except no limitations. They're available online. Cheese ball precision skate bearings are washed, dried, oiled, sealed, and spun by hand to ensure that every bearing comes out of the package smooth and ready to roll, except no substitutes. This doesn't need to be cheesy. Cheese balls. There's plenty more action to come, of course, here, not just on this track, but throughout the building. But the following game on this track, which is the Rainy City Roller Derby track, that will be coming up at, I'm trying to do math here on the time zones, but it's a game after this one. It'll be Romania versus Team South Africa, Team ZA. That'll be here on this track coming up next. We still have about 12 minutes of game time left. That will be getting underway around 1:30 local time.
So we are starting on a power jam for Team Switzerland, but not for long as Shake and Bake is released from the box.
Sin Sister just moving on toe stops only at this point. Trying to negotiate through that pack. With a tumble, Shake and Bake picks up lead. Very strong effort to get that lead jammer status out of the box. But Michael Jackson starting to moonwalk Sin Sister towards the back, but then has to beat it to the penalty box for another penalty.
Oh, good work.
I'm so sorry. Shake and Bake now still has one more pass to get around here. Knocked to the outside. Takes a seat in the ref lane. 5-point pass for Sin Sister. So Shake and Bake's actually going to call it. And looking to see if there are points in the offing. It doesn't appear. Oh, there were 5. So we got Jam does go 5-5. So it's a draw, 186-141.
Roulette Babette gave the finishing blow there.
Yeah, and I think
90.
Shake and Bake was just done at that point. It's just like, oh. You know that feeling when you've really pushed it. Having looked there at Val Capone, Lightning Slim on the venue call here in the event city.
And now we've got Where's the Fire jamming for Team Japan and Missy Lestrange, lead jammer for Team Switzerland.
Someone in the crowd really enjoyed that particular hit. Missy Lestrange still trying to negotiate up the inside line. Does pick up the grand slam, and there's another jammer penalty. Star pass completed to the former pivot. I believe that She's a Beast now is sitting in the penalty box with the jammer cover in hand. So.
Which means that Team Switzerland have a power jam, which is exactly the opposite of what Team Japan needed.
Yeah, it seems like in this game, every single time Japan starts to get a bit of their momentum back, something happens, whether it's Switzerland conspires to put a halt to that, or just through a series of unfortunate events, such as picking up that track cut. Nice side swipe attempt there from Riot Rocket. And they're calling another track cut on She's a Beast. So another power jam for Missy Lestrange here. And Switzerland is now starting to pull away. I think Missy Lestrange was thinking about calling that jam and then taking stock of the situation, and no, gonna keep going. 15 points already on this one. Yep. Switzerland now at 201 points. That's a 20-point jam. So multiple jams in this game now for Missy Lestrange that were over 20 points each. That's a 20-0 shutout on that one. And with Switzerland now up by 65 points, 206 to 141, less than 8 minutes remaining. The opportunities for Japan to grab this one by the horns and get back in it are starting to slip away.
2:06, Malice in Wonderland on track for Team Switzerland. And I believe She's a Beast still in the box for Team Japan. And just as Malice in Wonderland comes through for lead jammer, She's a Beast is released from the penalty box and is back on track. She's a Beast has the helmet cover in her hand.
And it's actually handed it off now to Nikki Cash.
Wow.
Nikki Cash was actually skating backwards through the pack, just kind of taking stock of, again, where everybody was and what they were up to. But it's unable to do anything with the helmet cover once receiving. It's a 4-point pickup, 210 for Switzerland, 141 for Japan. Less than 7 minutes remaining.
And we've got Shake and Bake back on track, jamming for Team Japan. And Missy Impossible jamming for Team Switzerland.
Interesting formation there off the start for Switzerland. Doesn't pay off, but they had 2 on the inside line and 1 on the outside, trying to surround the triangle of Japanese blockers. But in the end, Shake and Bake does pick up lead yet again. Very dominant in this role for Japan.
Shake and Bake comes in with a big hit to the back of Switzerland's wall. And number 15 Riot Rocket sent to the penalty box.
Both jammers are through, but yeah, Shake and Bake is going to run it.
Missy Impossible trying to get the helmet cover to the pivot, but thinks better of it. Finds a gap and makes it through.
Yeah, so that resulted in only 1 point because of when the helmet cover came off and was put back on. So a missed opportunity there. But I think in this case, the opportunity was maybe a little too strong just to try to get through and force the call off. Your opposing jammer may not necessarily know how many points you were on and have picked up. So they see you coming in the rear view mirror, might be more likely to call it. So that jam is a jam victory there for Japan, 12-1. But they're still down 211 to 153 with 5 minutes to go. So look there at Where's the Fire on the jammer line next to number 8, Sin Sister for Switzerland.
Sin Sister breaking apart Japan's wall and is through for lead jammer, while Where's the Fire is still battling Team Switzerland's blockers. Where's the Fire takes a massive hit from Nina Not Cruel.
Yeah, it's going to mean a low block penalty coming in against number 6, Killer Barbie. Chris Rago and Sprocket to you, going shoulder to shoulder right now with Sin Sister.
We have 3 of Team Switzerland's blockers off to the penalty box, 1 seated and 2 standing, so only 1 Team Switzerland blocker on track.
Which means we're going to see Sin Sister, the jammer, doing some defense right now, trying to buy some time for teammates to come back from the box. They're willing to, Sister is willing to yield a few points there to Japan just to make sure they cleared out the penalty boxes a little bit. It's a 215 for Switzerland, 163 for Japan. That jam went to Japan's favor, 10-4. Less than 4 minutes to go.
An interesting tactic when they had such a lead. It's worth doing.
Yeah, I think, again, it was a bit of a gamble, but again, if it helps eat up a little bit of time to get some of your blockers out of the box.
Although saying that, Team Switzerland are starting this jam with 2 blockers in the box and 2 on track.
Another foul out on Japan as Nikki Cash has left the track. So we're in official timeout while that is being sorted.
So lining up, we have Shake and Bake, jamming for Team Japan, and Malice in Wonderland on track for Team Switzerland. 2 blockers in the box for Team Switzerland and 1 for Team Japan. We're really seeing a high amount of penalties in this game.
Very slow start here. Got a scrum start to get this one going. Everybody keeping really tight. Shake and Bake trying to take the outside, finds it available, picking up lead for Japan. Star pass on the Swiss side. It's being now picked up by Anna Banana, number 123. Shake and Bake driven down to the ground at turn 2. Both jammers score 2 points. So that one's a draw. May have a third one actually for Team Japan. Yes, we do. So 217 to 166, 2.5 minutes to go. Getting a little bit closer here. It's a 51-point lead for Switzerland.
Official review called
by Japan. And they do have something to talk about as they are coming to the center of the track. So if we get a report on that, we will tell you what we can tell you about it. Kaya skates, including custom Onyx boots, are available now. Create your perfect skates with new colors, including teal and the shiniest gold you've ever seen. It's time. Visit them online at kaya-brand.com.
I've got some Kaya skates.
Do you?
I do.
You're not wearing them right now, though.
I'm not.
During this review, having a look here at the bench for Team Japan. In the middle there, number 452 with the red helmet. Of course, that's Mackenzie Phillips. Camera pulls back.
So I've just been told what the official review was called for.
Mm-hmm.
So the Japanese team feel that there was a high block on their jammer at the end of that jam. We saw it was a big hit, and we're just waiting to find out what the referees decide.
Yeah, Code Adam is the head referee for this game, so he's delivering the verdict. What do we hear?
The referees said no.
No call stands?
No call stands, so they have lost their review.
Which means that Japan has now used all of their time stoppages as well.
Certainly worth doing at this point in the game, though.
Well, you've got to try something. And if it works, if you can get somebody off the track that's been in your business the whole game, that's also something worth going for as well. But number 75, Where's the Fire, picking up lead jammer for Japan. Coming in hard against Nina Nakui, picking up 5 points. Star is off and passed on the Swiss side as Missy Lestrange hands it off to number 69, Luzette Bonbon.
Unusual for Missy Lestrange to be unable to break through Team Japan's walls.
No, that was a very deliberate, like, pretty much as soon as Where's the Fire was getting through on that pass, it was just like, here, take it. You go. So Switzerland, I think, doing a nice job trying to protect this lead. They are out in front, 217 to 172. Sorry, 175. They found 3 more points on the floor. So just over a minute left of game time. It's a tall order. But Japan sending Shake and Bake back to the jammer line, facing Sin Sister. Shake and Bake is through, but is not lead. That is awarded to Sin Sister. So Sin Sister is lead, calls it. Just making sure they can keep Japan off the board. So no points incurred for either side there. There's time for at least one more. .42 lead, 217 to 175.
Lining up on the jam line, we've got Mishi Impossible for Team Switzerland. And Where's the Fire for Team Japan.
I know yesterday there was at least one jam that went for 40 points in the building. I don't know that there were any that exceeded 40.
So not an impossible task, but a very difficult one.
It's a big ask. And as we're going to be largely just on jammer time in a hurry, Mishi Impossible picking up lead. No time stoppages left for Team Japan, so it's all up to when Switzerland and Mishi Impossible wish to call this. Hits it and quits it. 3-point pass, no further points for Japan. But one heck of a game here. 220 to 175 is the unofficial final.
A really interesting game with a lot of penalties, a lot of varied penalties, and some well-matched teams.
Yeah, we had 3 foul outs on Team Japan, including losing to Slamurai in the first half. Definitely a factor in some of the blocking work they were trying to do in the second half. Really strong dynamic jammer performances, though, on both sides. So here's Team Switzerland celebrating. Going to make their laps. Yeah, Shake and Bake. Again, we talked about this at halftime, being the leading point getter in the game. She had 63 points in the first half, 52 in the second, for 115 total points in this game. So very strong effort for Shake and Bake in a losing effort ultimately. So both of these teams done for today, but will both be in action again tomorrow.
Fantastic.
Coming up next, though, on this track, which is the Rainy City Roller Derby track, will be Team Romania taking on Team South Africa, also being referred to as Team Zeta. That'll be coming up at 1:30 local time, which means do your time zone calculations. So the final score, 220 to 175. Any final thoughts, Barbarella?
I think both teams showed really great walls, fantastically strong jammers, and I think the score reflects the effort of both teams.
Yeah, a lot of hard grind on both sides. Ultimately, a Swiss victory. I've been Mr. Whistler.
I've been Barbarella.
And you're watching the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup.